Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Timeless Flux. This is the first video in this channel, so I'm very happy, very excited to be here presenting a classic pick a card reading to you. The question is, what exactly do I need to hear right now? And I'll be connecting to the great goddess and to whomever spirit wants to come and talk to me, to the many viewers that are going to select each of the specific readings for each of the specific piles. I think I'll have the opportunity as the channel develops to talk about this great goddess and the way I see my connection to her and why does it feel so special to me. But for today, in order to inaugurate this new space of spirituality, I just want to go straight ahead and start the reading. But of course, I'll have this timestamps, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what pick a card readings are for those of you who are not used to this kind of interaction. If you want to skip the introduction and go straight to the timestamps, you just choose your pile, choose the charm or pile that talks straight to you. But before entering the basic instructions for pick a card readings and before starting the readings themselves, I just wanted to say to you, since this is our first video, that the name of this channel is Timeless Flux because I'm going to use for all of my readings an oracle that I've channeled myself. And the name of this oracle is Timeless Flux Oracle because these cards, if you notice, each of the piles has at the bottom at the bottom of each of the piles, we have these neon colored cards. And they were drawn by me, they were channeled by me in a very special afternoon. And this is straight connection with the great goddess, the creative goddess, and I'm going to be using them, okay, to set the basic situation, your basic, to feel your, get a hold of this feeling of a basic energy you're in right now for each of the readings and for each of the piles, okay? So that's why the channel is called Timeless Flux. If you want to skip my introduction on pick a card readings and general disclaimers on this kind of reading on the internet, you can just select your pile and go and use the timestamps in the description box to go to your reading, jump right into your reading. But I need to explain for those of you who do not know how pick a cards go. It's really very simple. You should just focus on the question, concentrate on the question. What exactly do I need to hear right now? It could be useful to think about your situation in general. If you have a specific problem, a specific situation you'd like to solve, you'd like to hear guidance for, then concentrate on that. It is also good to ask and to be open to receive messages that are not exactly what you mean to hear, or maybe not connected, straightly connected to what you think is your main problem, because maybe what Spirit's trying to show you is a little bit different from what you're thinking about right now. But concentrate on the question: what exactly do I need to hear right now? Ask for guidance, and then select one of the piles. And we'll have readings for each of the piles with the timestamps in the description box below. So you can jump straight into the reading for the pile you choose. Each pile is represented by a charm. I have this beautiful yellow rock here. Maybe under this light it looks a little brownish. Okay, I've collected this rock at a beach nearby, a beach inside a park. A place filled with nature. So I think it's really beautiful, and maybe you can see the yellowish light it kind of reflects. Okay, maybe it's a bit brownish here. And this is pile number 1. Pile number 2 is represented by this beautiful seashell. Okay, hope you can see it properly. And pile number 3 is represented by the witch hat. So please choose the pile you think is, well, the pile that calls to you, the pile that first attracted you, and the disclaimer, the basic disclaimer is these are general readings. So if there's anything I say, anything you hear right from the start of a reading, you can feel this is not connected to me, this does not resonate. So if you think there's something that is not for you, then it's probably not for you. Remember, these are general readings. Many people will be watching, and this message, these are not personalized messages. This is very different from personal one-to-one reading, okay? So take what serves you and leave the rest. It often happens that you choose a charm, you choose a pile, and then you think, okay, no, but I shouldn't choose that. And then you go to your second option, or maybe second best option, and you start watching the reading for this pile. And then nothing resonates. You think like, okay, nothing that she's saying is really connected to my life. It couldn't possibly be. Okay, so maybe a good advice would be to come back and watch the video and the reading for the first charm you've selected, or the first pile you have selected, okay? Because this resistance shows in many different forms. Sometimes we resist a message so strongly that we resist watching our first option and the first decks or piles or charms that called our attention. Okay, so with this disclaimer in mind, now let's go to the reading of group 1. And I have a patchouli incense here to help me focus. Let me just move this candle a bit up here so that it doesn't get in our way, and I hope you can see everything properly. Okay, please let me know in the comment section. If you selected pile 1, let me move this here, then this is the pile of the yellowish. It really gets bright yellow under the sunlight. And something important that I'm really hearing that strong, well, it's really coming strong to me now that I should tell you, this rock shines bright yellow under the sun, but it looks completely different under this light. And I had already noticed that when it's on my table, it normally sits on this beautiful wooden box I have, this decorative box. I used to keep my notes, some of my thoughts, or some of the things I need to do. Well, it usually sits there, and when it's sitting there, it has a completely different color. Yeah, it shows a completely different color. Under this light here, the light I've prepared to record this video, it shows another color, yet another color. Under the bright light of the sun, it's bright yellow. Okay, it's yellowish. Shade really comes out. So I'm getting a message here, which is that maybe serves some of you, that is try to see beyond the surface of people, things, objects, situations. There's more to things than you are actually seeing. There's more to people than you are actually seeing. There's more to situations than you are actually seeing. Maybe you're someone who gets too caught up by the first impression, or too caught up by the image, the social persona that people try to convey when they first reach out to us, or when they first meet us. And we all know that this the surface, or this persona we create, the marketing strategy some of us create, or companies put out there for us to buy their products, is not at all deep. So look for the depth in people, in situations, at work, whatever you are, because maybe you're only seeing the surface of things, and this is not what it's truly about when it comes to how they relate to you and the benefits and hindrances you may find in your way when relating to them. Okay? This could be about a person, this could be about a job, this could be about any situation in your life, and this could be an overall tendency you have. Okay? So, moving on to the cards, I'm going to start with the cards of the oracle I've channeled. If you've skipped the introduction and came straight to your reading, you probably missed that this channel is called Timeless Flux because of this oracle. This is the Timeless Flux Oracle. These neon colored cards were drawn by me, and I've channeled them a couple of months ago. They are not numerology based. This deck is composed by 4 different suits, and each suit represents a different cycle in the spiritual journey. But they do not follow a linear path, even if they have the established relationship between themselves. These relationships are not linear or time-based. That's why it's called the Timeless Flux Oracle. And these cards are going to show me your current situation. I can see right from the start that you have just had or going to have, but probably you have just had. This is something that has already happened, or this is an ongoing influence, an insight, because you can see the lightning bulb here. This is what's written here. Yeah, the lightning bolt. Sorry, lightning bulb. The lightning bolt. Sorry. This lightning bolt and this suit represents spiritual insight. Okay, it's something that comes from spirit and shows you that things need to change. Okay, and because this is like a first warning thing, this is like a red flag thing coming from spirit. It normally comes in the shape of something very concrete. Okay, it could mean lots of different things. It could come in many different shapes. It could be a series of accidents happening. It could be I don't know, something that had everything to go right and then goes wrong. Okay, it's something very concrete, but it's actually a spiritual red flag. Okay, something you should pay attention to. This is the lightning bolt suit. What they're talking about. There's something like this happening to you, and maybe you don't even know that this is spirit based, and that this is a higher message. And also, I can see that you're struggling a bit with your social life. This could be any kind of interaction with other people that is not really you don't feel comfortable in some or in most of your interactions with other people. Your social life, but when I say social life, this suit here, it refers to the expression. This is a circus, and it refers to the expression panis et circenses from Latin, which is bread and circus. I don't know if you know this expression, but it means it's related to how, in order to, I'm simplifying a lot, but in order to make people happy, the masses happy, you just need to offer them bread and circus, bread and some diversion, something for them to pay attention and forget the real problems of life. So this is about the circus, the social circus, things that you have to do, your social persona, the masks you have to wear out there, the different roles you have to assume in order to survive in the social situations. And I can see here that there's something that is problematic to you, or at least that you're struggling with. Maybe this is part of your personality. It's not really easy for you to wear those masks, or maybe you think you shouldn't wear those masks. You're trying to get rid of some of those masks, something in this sense. So let's see what kind of spiritual red flag you're receiving right now. What kind of insight? This is an insight, but it's an insight telling you that something needs to change, and it's usually very concrete. Let's see what's happening to you. Well, okay. What's happening to you is that your emotions, they are refusing to be kept under control. Okay, you're spilling out. They're spilling out. This card shows a woman and she's actually crying herself out. You see, her eye is being cried out. This is the name of the card, the eye being cried out. And the sentence goes, I'm being spilled like the ocean. So even if she's crying here, this could be tears of joy, this could be tears of anger, this could be tears of sadness. And this could represent fits of rage. This could represent sudden outbursts of laughter or anything like that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're out there just crying with everybody or getting pissed with everybody. It doesn't mean that this emotion is necessarily showing to the outside world, but it does mean that emotions are out of control. So maybe you arrive home and you lock yourself up, or if you live with another person, maybe you have to lock yourself up in the bathroom, and you cry, and then you want to punch a pillow or something. I don't know which kind of emotions you're dealing with, but what this card is showing is that emotions you have been repressing for a long time, and for a certain reason, I don't know exactly why, they are out of control now. So you could ask me, okay, this doesn't look like an insight, okay? Okay, I can understand a spiritual red flag, because if I'm losing control, then it means that something is wrong and I should fix it. Okay, but it's not only a red flag, it's also a spiritual insight. Why? Because it means that in the end of the day, you cannot live without your emotions. You cannot live just assuming that you could repress your emotions wherever they are forever. We tend to judge emotions as positive or negative, but they are actually not positive or negative. They're simply emotions. They're our connection to the processes and our way of processing. One of the ways we have of processing whatever is happening to us. And if we repress them, we are going to repress lots of things together with them. It's not possible to have all of these emotions inside of you, not express them, and at the same time have healthy relationships and healthy actions and a healthy positioning in the world. Okay, so maybe you're repressing all of your emotions, but this could also be partial. Maybe there are some specific emotions that you've been taught you could not express. Maybe anger. I have been taught that anger is something really ugly that you shouldn't show other people. That's how they told me. And so it was very hard for me to express anger. And when I started learning how to express anger, it was then it was really ugly, because I really wanted to. Well, I got angry a lot, and not in a healthy way. Okay, so maybe this is what you're dealing with. It could be anger. It could be even happiness. For some people, it is really hard to express happiness. But something that you've been repressing now is coming out, whether you like it or not. And let's see why. Because there's something that you have been waiting for. And it never comes. But you believe that whatever it is, once it comes, it's going to change your whole situation, your whole life for the better. Okay. The metaphor here is a codependent relationship. So the name of this card is the expected kiss. You see here there's a mouth representing this expected kiss that never comes. The sentence says it heals, but it never comes. And this is the tricky part, because when this card shows up, you probably already know that this kiss is never coming. Of course, the metaphorical story here talks about this codependent relationship and this kiss that you're expecting that never comes. This could also mean, of course, the kiss itself is metaphoric. So this could mean the attention your partner you would like your partner to give you, or the way you wanted him to treat you better, but it never happens. And this is affecting your whole life, you see. This kiss that you're expecting is affecting your whole life, okay? But the thing is, you really think that once this kiss comes, it's going to heal your whole life. But you also know deep down inside that it's never going to come. So it's a false hope. It is a false expectation. Sorry. Even if the story of the card's talking about codependent relationships, maybe platonic relationships, it could also mean that you are in a platonic relationship or a codependent relationship, but it could also mean that you have a codependent relationship with your job, with your family, with a member of your family, with an addiction, the thing is, there's something that you're expecting. Take the metaphor and work with it the way it resonates with you, okay, if it resonates with you. But there's something that you're expecting, and you're putting your whole life on hold because you believe that this is going to heal your whole life, or this is going to heal this specific situation. But in fact, you already know that this healing is never going to come, because this kiss heals, but it never comes. What the cards are showing here is that you already know, you've reached that point in which you know this is never coming. This is a false promise. And the symbology is interesting here, because the kiss that you're expecting, whatever this metaphorical kiss represents to you, it spills this poison here, you see? It's dripping poison. And it breaks your heart. But once it breaks your heart is turned into something that resembles a lot a pair of wings, a set of wings, you see? So it's like, it's also a blessing in disguise. It's one of the hard lessons, okay, the tough lessons you need to learn. But sometimes experiencing a situation like that is the only chance we have, the only opportunity we have of finding our own wings and realizing that our wings were within ourselves all the time, okay? So this is something you really know is never coming. And once you let go of that, you will see that you will realize your own origin, your own power, and your true value, okay? Why? Because you see that you're spawn. Here it says spawn. And spawn, what kind of spawn? You are moon spawn. The moon here represents magic, represents the sacred, represents mystery. This being here is moon spawn. You see there's a moon here, and then there's the mother here looking at him or her. This is a genderless figure, really, okay? And this creature here has wings, and the expression is really excited, and it's a crowned creature. And there's, see the hands here on the wall. This wall represents the threshold between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And this creature is just okay. So I know my origin. I know I'm sacred. I know I have this huge value within me. I know I'm amazing. So I can't wait to just start living and start planning and knowing my true worth and my true self. I'm really excited. The sentence goes, I came from the moon, so now what? Okay? Because it's a completely different perspective, or a completely different state of being when you say, okay, everything is ruined, so now what? Then to say, okay, I'm moon spawn, I'm sacred, I'm amazing, I've got the power, so now what? It's completely different. But for you, and it's funny because these cards do not necessarily come one after the other, okay? As I told you, this oracle is timeless flux because it does not follow a chronology or linear time. It's not numbered, as you can see. But we have the broken heart leading to you discovering your wings. And once you let go of the expectation, this expectation you have, this thing you want so much, that could be a relationship, that could be a job promotion, that could be well, it really seems to me like a relationship thing, but it could be a job promotion, it could be different status for your career, it could be money, it could be something that you're waiting. Once you let go of that and realize you have all it takes, then you're going to look at your life completely different, and then you're going to be able to plan your life from a completely different perspective. Okay, so let's see what the Tarot de Marseille has to say about that. And what they're saying is, check it out. Okay. First of all, you need to concentrate on actions that protect your integrity. Okay? One of the reasons why it is so difficult for you right now to let this go is that you are not necessarily following actions that are true to yourself. When you plan your day, when you plan whatever you're going to do, you're not thinking, okay, this is good for me. This is something that makes me feel like myself. This is something that is in tune with everything I believe in, with my values. Maybe you're even a bit lost. Maybe you don't remember. You don't remember what you like. You don't remember exactly. Okay, if you had to design a perfect morning, how would it be? Maybe you're so dedicated to waiting for this, whatever that is, this person, this job, this promotion, this money, whatever that is. Maybe you're so focused on waiting that you have forgotten you have a life to live, and you have forgotten how to plan days that give you joy, how to plan a morning for yourself, how to plan, how to even, maybe you don't even ask yourself anymore if this, once you get it, if this would actually bring you happiness. Because what this game is showing me, what this reading is showing me, is that it wouldn't actually bring you happiness. But you're so confused right now that you can only envision this, whatever that is, as healing, the only way to heal. Apparently, you're only waiting, right? But waiting for something, putting your whole life on hold for something, it has a huge cost in terms of actions. It seems like you're doing nothing, you're just waiting, but in fact you're doing a lot of things. For one, you're repressing your feelings, right? And this is a lot of trouble, because imagine, for example, I'm going to talk about one situation, one specific situation, but I think that this is for some of you, but not for all of you. I think that you can probably relate. Take it to whatever it is that you are holding on to. Okay, but let's say that the image that's coming to my mind is that you have this person you're interested in, and the person is really giving you lots of hope and rekindling flames every single day, but nothing's happening really. This is a person that's using your energy, that's sucking your energy, really, and it's not actually committing to you, okay, for any reason, probably her problem or his problem, okay? So you need, in order to keep this going, you need to pretend that you're not angry about that. You need to pretend that you're not sad about that, and then you repress all of those feelings, like we have talked about here. And this becomes poison inside of you, okay? So you come back and you have to put this persona up whenever you are with this person, that nothing's really bothering you, because you're afraid of losing this healing, this promised kiss that never comes, okay? I can see why you're doing this. You're doing this because emotional stability is very important to you. Okay, but at this moment, you are not emotionally stable. You're just holding on to something that is promising to make you emotionally stable if you hang in there and stay put. I also see here that you need to focus on knowledge, advice, information that's really useful to you, because maybe you've been hearing people, maybe even trusted friends, and they are trying to do their best, but they are talking about your situation from their perspective, from their point of view. They cannot really know exactly what's going on, and in order to reach emotional stability, the emotional stability you want so much, you will need to know how to filter information better. You will need to know what serves you and what does not serve you. I'm hearing, really strong, a strong message here, that is, know what makes you you. And this is going to come from knowing exactly what kind of action, what kind of things you like to do and you don't like to do, and paying attention to the kind of feeling these actions generate in you. Okay, if it's a bad feeling, then investigate why. Why is this a bad feeling? Why is it generating such a bad feeling? Bad in terms of, I know I said we should not judge feelings, but we should not judge feelings in terms of whether they are supposed to exist or not in this sense. But of course, if you're feeling down in the dumps, there's a reason for that. And then you can start observing, okay, every time I say this or I do that regarding this situation, this person, this expectation, I get immediately down, okay? My energy just goes down a drain. I get immediately lost, confused. If you start analyzing this, you see that there are some actions that are not good for you because they are not in tune with your beliefs. They are not who you are. You need to understand what makes you you. You need to understand what kind of action, what actions what kind of actions protect your integrity? Because, well, let's see what the Oracle of the Goddesses has to say about that, because they're usually good about reasons. Okay, so you see, here we have Maeve, and this is a Celtic goddess, and she's talking about, it's in Portuguese here, responsibility. The message here is you are responsible for your life. You are responsible for your feelings. You are emotionally and spiritually responsible for your path in this life, for your life. Your life is yours. Your body is yours. What happens in your life and what's manifested in your life is your responsibility. It may be, it probably is not always your fault. Because talking about it in terms of fault, whose fault is it, is only a lower perspective of how spirit works and how spirituality and law of attraction really works. But it is your responsibility. If it is in your life, then you have to deal with it. Maybe you don't like dealing with it, and I know this is a tough message. Maybe it feels unfair, but you need to deal with this. This is your responsibility. So you need to deal with your emotions. You need to deal with the fact that you know, even if it sounds really good and it sounds healing and it sounds like it's going to solve your whole life, whatever it is that you're expecting is never coming. If you're expecting that your partner behaves better, if you're expecting that this love interest is actually going to become a more serious relationship, it's never going to happen. If you're expecting the job promotion, it's never going to happen, or at least these things are not going to happen the way you're envisioning them they are going to happen, okay? You need to take responsibility. And taking responsibility, as I see here, is taking responsibility for your own actions, examining your actions more than anything. You need to know what makes you happy, what makes you sad. You need to know in the interaction with this situation or person, you need to know what triggers you, what emotions are related to this situation, okay? So that one day you can rise up to the challenge and say, okay, I know my worth, I know my true value, and I can stand up and face life and plan, knowing exactly what makes me feel good and what's good for me, what's useful for me, and knowing exactly what kind of knowledge I need and how to filter knowledge that's coming from other people. Pay attention to texts that you start reading online, because sometimes we get compulsive. We try to solve this situation, especially with false expectations. We start Googling all kinds of articles online, and even we view lots of pick a card readings, start watching them obsessively, and it doesn't really work if you don't have this strong internal filter of responsibility and knowing what's good for you and what's not good for you. Because it's a different thing to ask for spirit to guide you, okay, and to collect guidance that you're not actually implementing by observing your day-to-day reality. I'm not saying ignore the advice. What I'm saying is advice needs to be implemented according to your situation. I know and I can see here that emotional stability is very important to you. But in the end, what Spirit's saying, what you need to hear right now, is that it is your responsibility. You are responsible for building this emotional stability. And I have a card here. It's the last message. That's only an image, and it's not an oracle card. This card comes from a short stories book, okay, a collection of short stories written by Larissa Brazil. She's a Brazilian writer, and this is like a gift from an extra from her book. And while I was shuffling for this reading today, I got this message. I should include two of the cards for two of the piles here, so they're included into your reading and the reading for pile 3. Not pile 2 though. I'm going to tell you the short story, and you take it as it resonates. But this is the story of a ghost. This man is a ghost, and he's still here among us on Earth. Like this specter that cannot really go into the light, as we say, because he lost his boots, and he's looking for his boots in this physical realm. He cannot let go of his boots. So of course, the way I see it is that you have undergone a huge spiritual transformation. It's not actual death, of course, but you have undergone spiritual death, and in the most positive sense. You are no longer the person you used to be when you started the process of wanting this person, creating this expectation, or wanting this job promotion, whatever it is. You are a different person now, and you have your horse. You can move on. You have everything it takes. You are moon spawn. You have everything it takes to move on, but you keep on looking back, and you keep on searching for your boots. These boots here, for me, they represent emotions, or maybe something from your past, maybe a childhood trauma, maybe repeated patterns, cycles that you are that you have to deal with. But the good thing here is you are no longer the person you used to be. You are strong enough to abandon this situation, as this card shows to, and as Maev is pointing out to. You have what it takes to to really analyze your actions, your day-to-day actions, and filter your knowledge. You just need to muster the strength to do it right now. It's just that moment in the process in which you just, ride your horse out into the ocean and stop looking back. Otherwise, you just you just suffer an accident or something. Okay, you have what it takes. You have already changed. If you didn't have it, you wouldn't see that this is a false expectation, and this card would not be here. Okay, what these emotions are doing, running wild in your life, or maybe just insisting on showing up in inconvenient hours when you want to sleep, when you want to relax, when you want to be happy, when you want to hide them. What they're doing is saying, okay, this is valuable. Whatever you feel is valuable. If you're angry, you have the right to be angry. If you're sad, you have the right to be sad. But you don't want to live your life being angry or sad. So deal with us. You're not ugly or, I don't know, sad. You're not ugly or... I keep repeating ugly because I heard this a lot when I was a child, that certain emotions, certain feelings are ugly. But you're not a bad person because you have these feelings. Just experiment these feelings and get to know your actions, which actions are good for you. Get to know yourself. Get to know what makes you you, because you're much more beautiful than you think. And if you don't start planning your life based on how beautiful you are, you never stop looking back. You never stop looking for your metaphorical boots. And you really don't need them. You're much better than that. And what's worse, you never reach emotional stability. This emotional stability that's so important to you, and that you are the only person who can build. You're the only person who can build your emotional stability. Okay? So I hope this has been useful. Please leave your impressions in the comment box. I will read them and I would love to receive your feedback. And now let's move on to pile 2. Okay, pile 2, welcome to your reading. You have chosen the seashell. And this seashell has been collected. I was talking about it in the introduction, I think, briefly. But this seashell has been collected at a beach nearby. This beach is inside a park, and but it was not close to the ocean. It was a bit distant, and I started thinking, like, what are you doing here? How did you end up here? Is it that someone collected you before I did, and just gave up on bringing you home, taking you home? What happened to you? You're so beautiful. And of course there's it's broken here, you see. It's not complete, but I think it makes it even more special. It's, for me, when I walk around and I can find such beautiful things right so near my house, I feel blessed. I feel that life is giving me these gifts, and they're all for free, and they're so beautiful, and I feel truly blessed. So I think there's a message here for you. What I'm hearing is beauty and blessings. They are not always where you think they are. They could be anywhere, and sometimes they are closer to you than you think. Maybe this resonates with you. Maybe this helps you meditate on any specific situation in your life. But I really needed to tell you that. Also, well, okay, I think I've already said that, but beauty is not, beauty may be, or beauty, and I understand beauty as gifts, as those things you didn't think were possible, and they just appear magically in your life, let's say. these things, this kind of gift, this kind of synchronicity, this is closer to you than you think, and it's also not normally where you think it is exactly. It's always a bit further to the left or a bit further to the right, and don't worry about explaining why it's that. Just enjoy, take the chance. Okay, well, let's see how it goes with the reading. I was explaining to, I don't know if you missed the introduction, but I'm going to start, and I told this to the group 1 too. I'm going to start reading from these cards here. This is actually the oracle that named this channel. It's called Timeless Flux, and it's an oracle I channeled myself. It is divided into 4 suits. Each suit represents a cycle within the spiritual journey. Okay, so these cards are going to tell me. Also, it's important. This oracle is not based on numerology. Its cards are not numbered. Okay, so these cards are going to tell me a little bit about your current situation, and not only what you need to hear right now, but why is it that you need to hear what you need to hear, so to speak. Okay, so right from the start, I can see that there's some strong spiritual influence in your life right now, and this suit here is the beyond suit. It's written here in Portuguese, beyond, and there's this little speech balloon here, a comic speech balloon thing, and it's saying hi. Okay, so it's like whatever is beyond the spiritual realm saying hi to you, literally. Okay, something spiritual, connection to your higher self, something that's not explainable in terms of the physical world, is influencing your life, changing your relationships, and changing some of your work, or some of your activities in this world, because this suit here is related to the social life, to the social persona. It is the circus, as you can see, and it comes from the Latin expression penis et circenses, which is bread and circus. And it's related to whatever we do, whatever mask we put on to deal with social life, okay, the places where we're not the complete version of ourselves, let's put it this way, okay. And this suit here, which is the plow, is related to work, it's related to preparing the land, it's related to generating the basis for your spiritual journey, okay. So let's see what spirit is doing in your life. Okay, I don't know how you're feeling about this, we'll see in a second, but this is a moment in which the divine map, this is the name of this card, the divine map, is heavily present, let's put it this way, in your life, okay? Of course, the divine plan, here we have the divine map, but they're actually the same thing. The divine plan, the higher plan for your life is always operating. But there are some moments in our life in which we think, oh my God, there's really a higher plan for me. And you start having not only intuitions about that, but actually, actual proof that there's something higher that's in control of your life. You may feel happy about that. You may be really scared, because it's like logic, human logic is no longer operating. And as you can see in this card, the divine map is not exactly a straightforward path. So it's like you're planning, okay, if I want to earn $5,000 and I have these 5 opportunities to earn $1,000, and I've signed a contract, and they said they would pay me by, I don't know, this date, and this date. Then I'm going to calculate, I finished the job, so now I have $5,000 only. No, I don't. You know, everything that sounds logical and goes under human laws, everything could be questioned and stop working all of a sudden, because it's a moment in which the divine map is operating, I don't know, a little bit closer. I don't think that's it, really. I think that it's only a time in our lives and when we feel it this way. The divine map is always operating, but there comes a point in which you are ready for tougher lessons, or maybe you are more sensitive to spiritual patterns. You're more in tune with non-logical explanations of things. So you start seeing how a life is not straightforward, how life is not, cause and consequence can operate in ways that are very different from what human wisdom normally perceives, okay? So this card is the divine map, and the sentence is very interesting. The sentence says, the divine map does not accept provisory direction. What does it mean? Sometimes we try to do things that we know are not our true destiny. And this could mean that we're trying to do things that are not our calling, are not our destiny, are not in tune with our higher self, something like that. But it could also mean that we don't even like what we're doing. Maybe we're not so connected to spirit, but we're doing things that are not our top priorities in any sense. Maybe we're not even thinking about what our spiritual mission is or what our purpose is. But let's say you have a list, and from 1 to 10, first you want to be a lawyer, and then second you'd like to be administrator, and then on the 10th position you have teacher, and then you're teaching. This is what you're doing, and you don't know exactly why. It's sometimes it's because it's easier, because it's the opportunity you had, but in most cases, when we're talking about provisory meaning or provisory direction, we're talking about fear, not lack of opportunities, okay? And fear sometimes blocks us from experimenting with our true priorities. So when this card says the divine map or the divine plan does not accept provisory meanings or provisory directions, what it's saying is that this is a point in your life that whenever you're doing something that is not in tune with who you are, with your purpose, with what you're supposed to do here, it's going to clash, it's going to collapse, it's not going to go well, okay? And if you start considering everything that seems out of the blue in your life under this light, maybe things start making more sense, okay? Because you think, okay, in the situation I was talking about, the $5,000, okay? Okay, if I had these jobs aligned and they were going to pay $5,000 and everything was okay, contracts were okay, everything was okay, why aren't they paying? Maybe they aren't paying because you shouldn't even be doing that. And you don't even need this $5,000. And there's an opportunity for $20,000 that's maybe even easier, and you've never tested that. This $5,000 are only preventing you from getting what you truly deserve and from reaching higher and from being who you truly are, okay? This could be a possibility. So at this moment in your life, you might be experiencing a sense of, okay, I am not in control. But not being in control is good, because if you're not in control, then who is? The divine is. There's a divine plan. And this divine plan does not accept provisory meanings, okay? It does not accept when you know you should be doing something else. When you know you should be trying that idea, or when you know you have a better opportunity elsewhere, but you insist on doing, whatever comes your way without thinking, or because it's the first option, not necessarily because it's the option that talks to your heart, or that you even know it's best with your mind, okay? Then why is this happening is what I want to know. Okay. And it's important to remember, it's not only that it doesn't accept, it's going to make anything that you do that is not based on your true self collapse, okay? It's not going to stand. Maybe it sounds harsh or unfair, but it's not going to stand. And now you can know that it's not standing, it's not lasting, because it's not you. Okay. Why is it happening? It's happening because, my God, it's happening because this is the kite card. And the kite, this is a kite it's uneven, you see? It's here, it's shorter, okay? And here you see, it's irregular, okay? It has its beauty, but it's not fully balanced. And it's being guided, it's in the hands of someone else. Of course, it's always in the hands of someone, but imagine that you're this kite. This is what this card is talking about, the kite card. The sentence goes, it's so light and so beautiful, but who's holding it? Okay? Sometimes we put ourselves in this position. The position is, as long as I'm flying, as long as I'm partially beautiful, or even if it's not my true beauty, even if it's not my true self, but I'm flying, I'm there, I'm not completely balanced, but okay, I'm still flying. As long as I'm flying, it doesn't matter who's actually holding me up, okay? And it seems to me that you're doing a lot of things that are actually in the benefit or under the control of other people. You could be, maybe you're being told to do things, and you don't care to examine whether these things are a part of your true self, whether you feel connected to those things, whether they're the best option or not, for as long as you keep going, for as long as you keep flying. But you should actually ask yourself, okay, what does it matter if I'm flying? What does it matter if I'm light and pretty if I am not responsible for my own flight, okay? And you probably realized, because this is something that is already happening, and this is confirmation for you to follow a certain direction. So there is work you need to do in preparing to leave for this situation and to actually follow plans and maps that are divine and that are in tune with your true self, with your higher self. There's actually work you need to do. The problem here is that your mind is not really operating on your favor. Your mind is a little bit confused right now. You have all these different thoughts, and instead of facing them, instead of confronting them and organizing and separating and thinking, okay, this thought serves me, this thought doesn't serve me, I'm going to follow with this, I'm not going to follow with that. You're just, okay, I'll keep on going. Whatever they tell me to do, whatever anyone tells me to do, I'll keep on going. And what the divine, what Spirit's doing right now is, okay, you keep on going, but this is not for you. So everything that you do that's based on someone else and you're doing without reflection, I am going to cut it. I am going to make it go down. I'm going to crush it. Because you cannot keep on flying as someone else's kite forever, okay? So you probably have already realized that your head needs to work on your favor. Your head needs to be centered. When I say head, I mean mind, right? The representative of the mind, not the organ, but your thoughts need to work on your favor. This card here is the root head. And the sentence goes, my mind operates on my behalf, on my favor. Okay? So what we have here is this upside down woman, and she's a tree, but the root of the tree is her head, as you can see. And she has her hair and her head become a part of this root. And she has planted flowers all around this root. Okay, and because of that, the rest of her body branches out and gives her numerous possibilities of action. Not only one, but numerous possibilities of action. Maybe you're afraid that if you don't follow the opportunities given by other people, you're going to run out of opportunities because you cannot create opportunities on your own. If this is, maybe this is true for some of you, because I just heard it right now. If this is true for some of you, okay, let me know in the comment box. But if this is true for some of you, you're just afraid. Forget it. I'm hearing this is not the problem. So what you need to do is actually focusing on whatever it is that you feel sums up what your mission is, or what you'd like to tell other people, or what you like to stand up for, what you'd like to defend, and then plant yourself on this concept and protect your mental space related to this concept by building like a mental safe house in which you can feel, you can remember situations, you can connect to this concept, this idea, this notion of who you are and what you want to stand up for. Let's say that you're a person who wants to stand up for empowerment. Life is going to, well, for as long as you're meditating at home, and this is a very important process, you can think, okay, I'm an empowered person, or I want to be a more empowered person. I want to leave this situation. And it all seems really easy. Maybe it doesn't seem that easy, but I mean, it's easier when you're alone in your house thinking about how empowered you'd like to be. But this card is not talking about refuge. It's not talking about you alone thinking, considering how you'd be more empowered. It's not about taking time out to regroup. It's a card of work. It's the plow here, okay? So what this card's talking about is you are only going to create this safe house, this mental space, by confronting everyday situations, okay? And for each of the situations you experience, doesn't matter if they are simple, like going to the bakery and observing that there's someone being mistreated there and deciding on whether you want to intervene or not based on your beliefs. Maybe someone is being abused there. There's a boss, an abusive boss there, and you witness this situation every time you buy your daily bread or something like that, and you need to decide on whether you're going to intervene or not, because this makes you feel bad, okay? Whether you're going to spend your energy on that or not, or whether you're going to pray for this person or not. But you need to decide for this simple everyday activities, and also for situations like when you are at your work and you're presented with a new project. You need to confront this project based on your beliefs, okay? Based on if your word, what you want to stand up for is empowerment, for example, then is this new project empowering me? Is it empowering other people? Is it actually sucking on someone else's power? Is it actually vampirizing? Is it actually codependent on something or someone? And am I going to sign up for that? How can I change it? What attitude am I going to have about it? Can I opt out somehow? You need to take these decisions, but in order to take these decisions, you are going to have to consider everything in your life under the light of your true values and what you stand up for, what you want to stand up for. So maybe you're already in the process. I believe that if this card is here, you already know what you stand up for or what you'd like to stand up for. You just have to connect with this idea and create this mental space. Maybe for this, you need a little time out and a little meditation to create this. You should connect with this picture, because the idea here is that once you plant your head on this idea and you confront every situation in your life under the light of this idea, then you actually branch out with your body. Your body will know, and the more you practice, the more it will know how to operate and in which situations it is actually serving the higher plan for yourself. So let's see what the tarot has to say about this situation. Okay, so I can see here that this is something related to your past. Maybe it's difficult for you to stop just simply doing and moving on with activities that are proposed by other people, because it's really important for you to keep on flying. As the card here suggests, it's really important for you to be active, even if it is at the expense of what you stand for. The situation here is the situation of a person that's not really examining, or it's not really implementing what he or she stands for, because the most important thing is to keep things going. It doesn't matter who is holding your kite. What matters is that the kite's flying. Okay, this is the metaphor. But why is it that you never wanted to examine actions that were true for you, or the true reason why you're alive, your true plan? You never wanted to examine that because there's something from your past. Sorry. There's something from your past that prevents you from being fair to yourself. There's a situation in your past, probably related to your childhood, to your family, that prevents you from seeing yourself under a fair light. You see yourself as this Knight of Cups that needs to be always available to everybody, and you actually have a lot to give. But this is a situation in which you have to put yourself first for a while. It doesn't mean that you are going to stop giving, but you are going to realize in which conditions and under which terms that are going to be written based on what you stand for and based on your newly established mental safe house, okay? Once your mind starts working in your favor, you are going to decide under which terms you are going to give, because there's a lack of balance here. There's a situation in your past that prevents you from getting justice for yourself. It's like you're always giving, and for you it's very important to keep on giving, but you're forgetting that there needs to be a balance. You're forgetting about yourself, okay? And this is highly unfair to you. You're forgetting maybe that justice is important, but true justice includes yourself. True justice is not that of a warrior filled with good intentions and with lots to give, that tries to solve the problems of the world but forgets about him or herself. Okay, this is not God's plan for you. And what's happening right now is that everything that you do that is not in tune for you, it doesn't matter if it's apparently good for other people, it's going to fall. And it's probably already falling all around you, because it may be good for other people, but it's not good for you. And true justice includes you, includes yourself. okay? But what is the work you still need to do in order to help people in a way that is coherent and that is in tune with who you are and what you stand for? First of all, if you don't already know, you need to decide, not decide, but hear what you stand for. What is your mission? This is inside of you. This is, if you're a person with such heart, if you're a person with so much to give, you probably already know what it is. Maybe you're resisting knowing it or being conscious about it, but you need to know what you stand for, and then you need to organize your mind and make a decision on okay, I am only going to act, or I am going to judge its situation. It's funny because this card is right below the card of the root head, right, or head root, whatever you wish. But you need to judge every situation in your life based on your values and based on what you stand for, okay? This is the only way of stopping to be flying around, moved or guided or controlled by the hands of other people. This may seem nice to you, like at least I'm helping other people, I'm making other people happy, okay? Because this is not even a project that you're helping other people in the sense that you're making them happy. You're lightening their load is what I'm hearing, okay? You're lightening their load and you have so much to give in emotional sense. But this is not fair to you, and this is not actual help, because people need to carry their own loads, okay? So let's see what's the Oracle of the Goddess. Okay. What the Oracle of the Goddesses has to say, and this is Sekhmet, Egyptian goddess, and it talks about hate and anger, okay? Okay, this is a very, very clear message. The reason why you give and give and give, and it's important to you never to stop doing things and, in a sense, being controlled by other people, pleasing people, making people happy, which actually puts your life, in the hands of other people, is that you have some kind of problem dealing with your own hate and anger, with your anger, okay? This is related to a situation in the past. It could be many different things for the many different people watching this video. But the key to untangling this mystery is you need to remember two things. First, there is no true justice if it doesn't include you. Okay, you may think that it's fair to sacrifice if everybody is happy, and if you keep on being this good person. You are a good person. I can see here that you are a good person. You have this huge heart and you have lots to offer, but there is no true justice if you're not included in the plans of justice, if you're not able to express your true self and what you stand for. Okay, that's why some or many of your plans right now are not working, because these plans are not meant for you, actually. And you need to remember there's no true justice if it doesn't include you. And you also need to remember that hate and anger, they're tough teachers, but they're still teachers, okay? Maybe this situation in the past is related to someone, maybe your parents, maybe other relatives telling you that you shouldn't feel anger, that you should repress anger. That is, it's funny because something similar showed up in group one, but the pile one, but it's a complete, but under a completely different light, a completely different situation. But it's very common for people to have this not only mixed feelings, but very but terrible feelings about anger, right? We shouldn't show it, we should repress it, it's terrible, I'm a bad person if I feel anger. And if you're a person that sees yourself under this light, I'm a good person. I have lots to give, and I should always be giving. I should always be listening to what other people have to say. If this is so important to you, up to the point that you forget what you stand for, and your head gets messed up and so confused, and you don't know what's the next step, then probably you have lots of troubles when you try to express anger. You don't like feeling angry, but you need to remember that anger is not a red flag, but anger is an ally, right? It's an ally. It's maybe a tough friend, but it's an important friend. When you're angry about something, it usually means that you should be investigating the possibility of doing the exactly same thing. Okay, it's not always the case, but if you're angry about someone being lazy, for example, it doesn't mean that you should be lazy, but maybe it means that you need to rest a bit more. If you're angry about someone, I don't know, not giving you enough attention, it doesn't mean that you should go there and demand attention, but it could mean that you are in need of paying more attention to yourself and to what you stand for, okay? And making your mind work around what you stand for. I really hope that you understood the work of the root head, because it is a process. I've done it myself lots of times. And it's not easy when we're driven to this social conundrum here of, we're doing a lot of different things and it always seems to be serving other people, and we can never live this place in which I'm giving. This is the right thing to do. Okay, but if you're giving, this is the right thing to do, and you're still feeling anger and hate inside that maybe you don't want to admit, but it's burning inside of you, you should deal with what this hate and this anger is trying to tell you. And the process of imagining what you want to stand for, it could be empowerment, it could be joy. I want to be this person who brings joy to the world and to everybody. It could be love. I just want to love and be loved. It could be creativity. It could be education. It could be something more concrete. It could be whatever you want. And it will probably change over time. Maybe yes, maybe not. Doesn't matter. But as long as you start centering your mind about something that you want to stand for, and then you organize this rooting, let's say, and plant flowers around it so that no external thought or action that generates intrusive thoughts mess with whatever you're working with. Then once you do this, you're showing respect for whatever messes with you, okay? And you're showing respect for yourself and care for yourself, and you stop giving so much in an unbalanced way and start giving yourself. It's also interesting because normally what you want to stand up for is what enrages you, is what you see as lacking in the world, is what you see as, I said normally, but it's only a possibility, okay? Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's common, let's say it this way. When you have a cause, if we're talking about a cause that you have, it's probably that some of you watching this video have a cause that you're not really paying attention, or you're paying attention, but always under somebody else's terms, okay? If we're talking about a cause, then causes could start from something that enrages you, something that makes you feel really, that works you up. Because how could there still be people suffering from racism? How could still there be people suffering from poverty or something like that? Okay, so maybe you can't immediately open an NGO, but you can think about abundance and poverty, abundancy and scarcity in everything that you do in your life as to contribute in your own way, your own individual way, in every action you do every day. And maybe you could also be working for other people's NGOs, other people projects who say that they're working for abundance or they're working to fight racism, but they're actually not. They're actually they're trying to get money, they're trying to get attention, prestige, and you can see that, but you're unable to focus, and you're unable to stop giving and helping. It could be a situation like that. But it's important to consider, this is what I'm trying to say, the relationship between hate and anger and rage and whatever you stand for, especially if it's a cause. It doesn't have to be a cause, okay? In any case, remember that true justice includes you, and that rage, anger, hate, they are allies. They're trying to tell you about something that's missing, okay? Your inner self can present itself as a child having a tantrum, because it's the only way to call your attention. I hope this has been useful. Thank you very much for watching. Leave your comments, your feedback on the comment box below. And now I'm going to go to pile number 3 reading. Thank you so very much. Hello, pile 3. This is your reading. Let me get your reading here. If you've chosen the WeChat, there's something interesting about this WeChat. It was actually, I don't know if you can see the, I don't know if you can see it here. Let me use my, it was actually sitting on top of a pen. So it was pen decoration, okay? I bought it at this esoteric shop, okay? And there used to be a pentagram here that got unglued, and now it's on my wall, yeah. And I really like this pentagram, and the hat became a charm. Now I use it as a charm to remind me that magic should always be a part of my life, and there is always a magical way or a magical perspective, a magical I wouldn't say solution, but mainly a magical perspective under which I could face life's ordeals, life's tests, and toughest situations. So I really think there's a message here for those of you who chose this pile, to remind yourselves that logic, human logic or classic logic, whatever you prefer to call it, is not the only way to solve problems. It's not the only way to confront life. It's not the light under which you can examine whatever's going on in your life. I'm not saying that you should investigate magic or go into witchcraft or sorcery, something like that, but only pointing out that there's more to life that we can see or explain if we're only thinking in terms of logic, or even Western logic, human logic, traditional logic, cause and effect, your basic objective view of life, air quoting here, okay? So maybe this means something to you. Maybe you're being drawn to signs in your everyday life that you're resisting a bit, resisting to hear, or maybe resisting to I don't know, maybe you're resisting magic in your life. This is what I'm hearing. And it does exist, and it does make life easier, or at least more interesting to face, okay? So let's see what what your cards have in store for you. And I'm going to start with these cards here. If you skip the introduction, this is an oracle called Timeless Flux. That's why this channel is called Timeless Flux, and it's one of the main inspirations for me to create this channel. I've channeled this oracle myself, and it is divided into 4 suits. Each suit represent a cycle into the spiritual journey. And from the 2 suits I have here, I have the path suit, this neon green one, and I have the lightning bolt suit. Okay, from these 2 suits, I can see that you're a highly spiritual person, or at least that you are already deep into your true spiritual path, the path of your true purpose. But there's something that maybe got lost, forgotten, something that you still need to work with from a past version of yourself, from a time in which your purpose was not so clear, from a moment in which spirituality was not so clearly operational in your life. Because spirit is always operating in our lives. I believe that strongly. We are always following or being guided towards a divine plan. And this suit here is talking about the spiritual path. And as you can see, the spiritual path is a cycle in itself, and it's not straightforward. And it's never ending. Okay, it has its ups and downs, it has its hills and valleys, but it is unique. And sometimes, well, I'm going to just see if you can get it. Sometimes it even looks like there are faces here. Okay, I see this as an upside down face, and this is, you see the eyes here, and maybe a wrinkled forehead, you see. But because we're going to meet not only people, but ancestors, angels, gods and goddesses helping us, giving us signs, reaching out. The more we open up, the more we are going to feel this, to hear this path, and to follow it intuitively. So I can see here that you're trying to be more intuitive, and that you're actually more in tune with your spiritual guides, or with a spiritual guide, and you are undertaking this spiritual journey, or a more spiritual journey. But there's something from the past, right from the beginning of your life, or from the early stages, from an earlier version of yourself, that still needs work, and you seem to be resisting it. Because this suit, the lightning bolt suit, talks about the very first insights we have when we still do not believe, do not have faith in the spiritual realm, or in being guided and protected. And then Spirit tries to communicate with us with using very concrete resources, like bursts of emotions, or like trying to prevent us from getting some of the things we want, because they're actually not good for us. These are very concrete movements. So let's see what it's talking about. Okay. So first of all, you have ended a cycle, and this was something that just happened, or it's happening right now. You have just ended a cycle and celebrated the end of this cycle. It could be a long journey towards the end of a project that was close to your heart and it was highly in tune with your purpose. It could be building a family up, or getting married, or a conjunction of things, but you feel like you've just reached the end of a circle. And you can see this card is the party in the forest. okay? And there are these people here, they're all friends, they're all happy, they're all celebrating together, and this is a sacred circle. And around them we have the forest, this represented by these trees, and these trees are like a safety net. They're protecting them from being seen and interrupted from outside, from external interference. So their celebration is protected. You are actually now celebrating with your closest and dearest friends, whomever they are. I don't know if you're married, if you're not married, if you have a lot of friends, but it really doesn't matter. It means that right now, or maybe it happened a couple of months ago or a couple of days ago, weeks, it doesn't matter. You're at this moment of celebration, celebrating the accomplishment of something. And this could even be an internal accomplishment. You feel like you're more mature, you feel like you really know who you are. And this sentence, the sentence in this card is really interesting because it says, "At last we have come to the place from where we're going to depart, from where we're going to start our new adventure," putting it in another way. So it recognizes that the path, the spiritual path, is cyclic. So this is a card that talks about celebration, but that is highly spiritual because it recognizes that after the celebration, you regroup, you regain your strength to start again. And that it's always good to start from a place of rejoicing yourself and accepting everything that you've learned in a previous journey. Okay, if you're not feeling right now like you have reason to celebrate, this could be telling you that you really need to celebrate. Or maybe if you're feeling okay, I'm celebrating, but I'm a bit anxious because I think that I should be doing something else, I should be starting my new project, I should be moving on with my life. This card saying, no, you're right to celebrate because you've just ended this long cycle or this hard cycle and you earned it. More importantly, we always reach a place at the end of a cycle from where you're going to leave to a new adventure, to the next adventure. So if you don't celebrate, you're never going to learn the lessons, incorporate the lessons and the joy and the feeling of deserving everything that happened to you, and you will never gather the strength necessary to move on. So this is a very important moment, okay? But okay, so maybe for most of you, I'm hearing that it's not so easy to celebrate. Maybe you're even resisting this celebration because I'm going to turn this up, but it's important that it is inverted. I do not always read inverted cards, but I think that is important. It is inverted here in this situation. This card is the queen body of the queen, okay? Queen body. And the sentence goes, I was more than what I am today, and now I feel it. And you can see a woman here. Her body is the body of a queen. She's naked and she's crowned, and she has several arms sprouting from this, and they are sprouting from her feeling, from her royal feeling. It is because she feels royal, because she knows that her body is royal, that her body is sacred, but more than sacred, that her body is royal, that her body is rich in possibilities, beautiful and lovable, because she knows that she has all of these possibilities sprouting from her body. Okay, she gained several arms, and because she crowned herself, because this is self crowning, okay, because she crowned herself, she has all of this. Well, her body multiplies when she realizes that she has the body of a queen. Okay, the sentence is very important here because it shows how timeless, how non-linear this body construction is. It says, I was more than I am today, and now I feel it. So what does it mean? It means that this talks about a moment in which you can clearly feel all of your potential. But this is not mental. This is talking about the potential of your body. Okay, you feel really good about your body, and it's only a moment. It's not how you usually feel about your body when you're doing your everyday chores, but there are some moments, insights, okay, like lightning bolts, okay, that's strike you, and you feel this royal body. You feel how powerful your body is and how beautiful. But it's not only that you feel at that moment, you feel it as if it were a memory. You feel it as if you had already been, and this could be a memory from a past life. This could be manifestation so strong. This could be such a strong intention that you feel it as if it had already happened. This could be such a strong potential that you feel it as if it had already happened. Okay, some people they have troubles moving on with life and actually putting their plans to action because they just they get how can I say, they get intoxicated by this feeling of what they could be, and their images are so real, they are so much like memories that they simply live on this imagination, on what they're seeing. Okay, but this moment of the body of queen body is much more than imagination. Is a moment in which you really know that you have already been more than what you are today physically. You know that your body is much more than it is producing, being performing right now, and you can feel it as if it were a memory. Okay, it's a beautiful moment, but it's only an insight. It's a spiritual insight that is meant to move you forward. Now this card is shown here in reverse. So what it tells me is that you probably have difficulty celebrating. You probably have difficulty celebrating, and you have worked so hard. You have so much to celebrate. This is the end of a cycle. You have done so much. If you're in doubt about that, then Spirit is telling you, please try to think about how much you've done, because the only thing preventing you from seeing that is that you are not in contact with your body. You are not really seeing your body for what it is. You have problems understanding that your body is much more than only a limit to yourself. And even if you are really focusing on following your spiritual path and your purpose, you cannot do this without your body. You cannot do this ignoring your body. So you should treat your body well, but more than treating it well, you should connect to everything that your body can be, because your body is the true possibility, the true basis for any manifestation you want to have, anything you want to manifest in this world. Okay, and only if you are able to envision it, and not only envision it but see it, feel it, experiment it as the true body of queen that you have and that you had, maybe in past lives, but at least as a potential, as a source, of inspiration, if you cannot imagine it and work with this in your plans, then you won't be able to move forward. Okay, now let me just see what these cards go. Okay, and this is something that you know. Okay, this is something that you know, because this card here is the grimoire. The grimoire, I don't know how you pronounce that, is the grimoire. In Portuguese we say grimório. It's the book of the witches. Okay, and well, there's lots of witches here. So maybe some of you are witches, maybe some of you work with witchcraft or some kind of occult, dealing with the occult or magic and of some sort. But this is not for all of you, of course. But this card is not only talking about witches and witchcraft. It's just a metaphor. It's talking about what you know. And the sentence goes, I know what I know and I apply what I know. Okay? So it's actually saying that there are many things that you know, that we all know since we were kids. Sorry. And for one reason or another, we stop applying it. We stop applying them, sorry, because we forget about them. It's like we don't forget about them because it's impossible to forget this kind of knowledge, this kind of basic, essential knowledge about ourselves. But we forget to apply them because we get enamored, we get in love, something like that, with the ideas of other people. And this is the basic, well, it's the strongest way to forget about our own bodies, when we get in love with other people's ideas, about ourselves. Then we get maybe enmeshed with their own representations, their own physical representations, and we forget about everything that is concrete and related to our own physical manifestation, including our body. Okay, so in order to be able to remember your body, the strength of your body, which is going to lead you to a celebration of this cycle you have in your life that's ending, that has just ended, I'm hearing. You will need to apply what you know about yourself. You know that you're beautiful. You know that your body is beautiful. It doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter what the standard body is. It doesn't matter what people think beauty is, what people think is beautiful or not. What matters is what you know, and you must honor what you know. Okay, this is part of your sacred journey, and maybe this is what Spirit's trying to tell you with these signs, with these magical signs. Maybe you might be having signs that your body is more than it is, but you're resisting, and this is preventing you from celebrating everything that you've done so far. But this celebration is very important. Let's see what the oracle cards. Okay. What the what the Tarot de Marseille is going to tell us. Okay, yes. Oh, okay, and this is important too. For this group, this is the only group for which I had 4 cards from the Tarot instead of 3. And it's important to say I have 2 trumps here, okay? For the other piles, I had only court cards and numbers. Okay, court cards. No, I'm sorry. For one of the piles, I had a trump too. But anyway, it's exactly that. In the first position, we have together. They were together. We have the world. It's the end of a journey, and it's the end of a journey that has altered your financial status or your material status. Maybe you didn't earn a lot of money, but at least you feel safer. You feel like you have the conditions now to materially operate. You could be well off, but you could also be at least a person that now is materially stable and able to help other people, able to rule your kingdom in material abundance. And this is part of what you need to celebrate. This is what this end of cycle has given you, okay? But you need to celebrate that, because if you don't celebrate that, you simply go to the next action, and the next action and the next action, and you feel like this is important. It's like you're trying to get on with your life too aggressively. You have things to do. I'm going to pull the Oracle of the Goddesses. Yeah, exactly. The Oracle of the Goddesses has Vila. It talks about a change in shape, a change in form. Yeah, exactly. You have just finished the cycle. This cycle has altered your possibilities for material growth. You have grown materially. Maybe it wasn't a lot of money, but we have the King of Pentacles here, so probably you have come across a lot of money, or at least a lot of material stability. Your material conditions have changed, and you're trying to move on. You're trying to be mentally you're trying to be driven by your mind, but you need to include your body. If you don't include your body, if you don't remember those situations in the past you left that maybe messed with your self-esteem in the physical sense, that maybe left your body behind, and maybe put you in a position in which you thought you could solve everything with your mind, then your spiritual journey will never be complete. And you know that. You just have to implement that, because if you do implement that, I see lots of action in your life, lots of movements, and lots of success. But you need to be careful, because this is the moment of changing your form. Okay, see, you have this goddess here. She can assume many different forms. Okay, see, the woman with her wings, and the wolf and the horse. Okay, she can be many things. You can also be many things. You don't have to be one thing. Your project, whatever it is, or your new adventure, okay, whatever you're going to undertake next after the end of this cycle, is not going to be affected if you change the way you see your body. Because sometimes we have been for so long operating under this perspective that, okay, I can do everything with my mind. Okay, I have problems with my body, and I don't really know how to operate my body, or I don't think I'm beautiful. But I can solve everything, and I can move on, and I can be spiritual without really checking in with my body. And maybe for some of you, you have a belief that the spiritual journey, or spiritual abundance, this is not related to the physical. Maybe you have divided the physical and the spiritual, and you think that you can work the spiritual path without grounding it in your body. And then what you need to hear right now is you cannot. Okay, it's interesting because this is a very good card, and it's showing that even if you don't work with that, you continue moving. But you see that the car here it has two horses that represent two completely different directions. You have the possibility of moving on with your life and keep on doing things based solely on the mind, and but this costs you a lot of energy. The energy it costs you prevents you from getting joy every time you end a cycle. You like have problems recognizing the effort you've made, recognizing the role of your body, maybe spending lots of hours working in a certain direction, recognizing how important it was for you to be disciplined, for you to have dedicated so much. And maybe you're not recognizing the how important your body is, that you wouldn't be doing this without your body. And it's not that this is not like a warning. If you don't pay attention to your body, your whole life will collapse. This is not what the cards are saying. What they're saying is, do you really want to continue moving forward with two horses that are looking in the same direction, like your body and your mind, okay? Your passions that you cannot actually see represented by your body, and your mind that maybe you see as cold and truly divine, guided by the divine, but not related to the body. Do you really want to go on working with these two aspects as if they were divided? You really can't have the full spiritual experience and complete your path if you don't start celebrating. And you can see that this celebration involves dancing, and it involves interacting with others, and it involves respecting your body, protecting your body, being together with close intimates, being able to do that. And spirit will protect you. It will present you with your space in the woods, whatever these woods may mean to you, okay? A safe space in which you can build your sacred circle and celebrate. But this celebration is body based. Everything that we do is body based, and for you to have pleasure with your body and celebration, you need to accept that you can change forms, and that nothing bad is going to happen if you change forms a little bit. Okay, you have this power. Now, I have an extra card here that is from the work of Larissa Brazil. Larissa Brazil is a Brazilian writer, and this is from a book of short stories, a collection of short stories she wrote. It's not an oracle card, but while I was shuffling for this reading, I got a clear message that I should include for two of the piles, pile number 1 and pile number 3, one of Larissa's cards. And the card I got for you today was this one. So you can see here there's an angel, right? This angel has her hands up. It seems to be, well, it could be a genderless figure here, yeah. But it has her hands up, or his hands up, and there's a huge moon here that normally represents intuition, mystery, etc. And there's this old woman here, okay, offering the angel a rose from her bouquet. Now, roses are spiritual flowers. Well, spiritual in which sense? Alchemically, they were considered the highest from all kinds of transmutation you could work with when you're working with the element in plants, okay? Oversimplifying, but okay. And they are at a cemetery, okay? So what I read from this is that there's something you need to offer to spirit, or something you think you need to offer to spirit in order to have its grace. And maybe you're really concerned with the mystery of death, concerned with old age, but this I think it's only for some of you, okay? What I clearly see here is you have a lot to offer. You're offering only one of your possibilities, but you have much more to offer. And what Spirit is actually saying is, look, there's much more going on than just material offerings. I have the whole mystery of the moon. I have your intuition. And every time that you use your intuition, that you use your body, that you do things with your body, you are also worshiping me. I hear a lot of people, they come and they ask, when they ask for readings, they say, okay, I want to know, how can I thank my God, my goddess, here in Brazil, a lot of people work with Afro-religious Afro-religious practices, and they ask, how can I thank my Orisha? And I say, okay, maybe you can ask your Baba Orisha, the person responsible for the contact, the practices, then they're going to tell you the ritual you could do with candles, with flowers, with offerings. But a lot of times the cards say, okay, the main offering you can do to your god, your goddesses, your god, the goddess, your Orisha, is to live your life in pleasure and freedom, and to use your intuition and your body possibilities to the fullest. Okay, so you can see that this woman is offering a part of her spiritual gifts represented by the rose, but she's not offering all of them. And the angel is kind of presenting a solution. Look, not even taking the flower really, but saying, look, there's much more to the universe. Like, go live. Okay, listen to the signs. Go live. Experiment more, because this is also honoring me. It's the same message I get when these people ask me, okay, ask the tarot, ask the cards, how can I pay homage to my gods and goddesses? And I've heard more than once that you pay homage by being happy, by being free. And you can light a candle, of course, but light a candle if this makes you happy and free. So the message I see here for you guys is, you really need, if you want to offer something in return and you want to be grateful for everything that you've received, celebrate, and celebrate with your body. Include your body. Celebrate how beautiful your body is, and really celebrate with other people, but see who these people are, people that make you feel good. Okay, if you're not celebrating, start celebrating, whatever celebration means to you, and include your body in this celebration. Not only thinking about physical activities like dancing, representing here. Maybe you have had ideas like, oh, I should have a party, this is the end of a cycle, and then you discarded them like, this is nuts, I shouldn't spend my time with that, I should keep moving on. Okay, but this is not true. You really need the strength of this celebration to move on, and you really need to include your body in this celebration. Your body has done so much for you, and this is something that has been left from the past. It's like one last ordeal, one last thing for you to consider and for you to work with before you can fully enter this spiritual journey feeling much more comfortable. Spirit does not require from you to make any kind of sacrifice that is not going to include your body. Okay, that's going to make you feel like you have to sacrifice your body. Okay, this is not what death is all about. This is not what honoring spirit is all about. There's much more to it. The angels seem to be saying there's much more than you can give, and you give by observing. Okay, you give by experimenting, you give by living, you give by celebrating all of that. Okay, so I hope this has been useful. It was really my pleasure to be here with you all, and please leave your feedback and your comments in the comment section, and do not forget to consider and believe in magic in your life. Thank you.